So what are you going to do? You're here for a reason, for one common goal. And we all know what that is. To hold that trophy and get back there again.
Wentz is going deep, and it is caught by Deshaun Jackson.
We know who we are. We about to show the world who we are. Put it out there.
He's hit. He's sacked.
Fletcher Cox.
Put it on the line. Everything you got. Introduce it to our brand of football, man.
Eagles preseason football tonight. It is the Meadowlands to wrap up the preseason as the Eagles get set to take on the New York Jets. Hi everyone, Scott Graham alongside Ross Tucker. Glad to be here with you. And Ross, it seems like we just started this thing, but it is already over. Probably doesn't feel like that way for the players, though.
No, especially the guys that are playing tonight. If you're playing week 4 of the preseason, you better be ready to go. Some lives will change just based on what happens tonight. There's a couple of roster spots, practice squad, those type of things, and you better believe how you finish matters.
Now, of course, we're always talking about quarterbacks, and one of the guys that you're going to see at quarterback tonight didn't get his opportunity last week because, well, lightning and thunder started, but we are going to see a couple of guys who are getting an opportunity to showcase themselves tonight.
Right, Cody Kessler and Clayton Thorson. I think both of them haven't really gotten a chance to play as much as they wanted. Kessler has had 3 short stints for various reasons. Thorson didn't really get a chance to play last week because of the lightning delay, as you mentioned. So anytime you get an opportunity in this league when everybody's watching, that's a huge chance for both those guys to finish this preseason strong and show the Eagles and everybody else what they can do.
So as you walk into this game, you realize that there are jobs to be won. And part of the thing that people have been talking about for years is when those jobs are on the line, it's your ability potentially to be a special teams player that can help put you over the top.
Especially the last 3 or 4 spots. We talked to Dave Phipp. He's the special teams coordinator for the Eagles, and he said his communication with Howie Roseman, the general manager, is outstanding. Better than any organization he's ever been. So there's no doubt that what Dave Phipp says to Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson, based on how these guys play tonight and based on how they played on special teams throughout the preseason, could make a huge difference.
So tonight it all comes down to one final game, and for a number of guys this could be a very, very important night. We'll be back with the lineups and the opening kickoff for the Eagles and the New York Jets coming your way next. Left the air in the area today, so 77 degrees, 40% humidity, not a whole lot of wind here tonight, and more importantly, you want to circle that at the bottom. Forecast is clear. We're not getting knocked out of here tonight. They're not getting us out of here.
Nice. First telestrator of the night. Boom. Nailed it.
Let's take it down to the third man of our broadcast crew, Dave Spadaro.
Scott, thank you very much. Let's get you updated on an injury suffered by Deshaun Jackson during the week of practice. There have been a lot of reports out there. This is the official word from the Philadelphia Eagles. Jackson suffered a minor injury on the ring finger of his left hand, a small fracture. He will play against the Washington Redskins on September 8th. When the regular season opens, there is no reason for concern, no splint on that finger. He does have it wrapped, but the word is that Jackson will play. I know you wanted to know the official word. I know this game is important, but number 10 in the lineup next Sunday, extremely important.
Now that becomes excessively important for that man and his entire staff, and really for the Eagles' entire fan base. Doug Peterson in his 4th year as Eagles head coach. Got an opportunity to talk to him before each of these games as he shared some of his insights, some of his feelings about the thinking behind the moves of who was playing and how he went about doing his job and getting this team ready throughout the preseason. Now you see a number of the offensive linemen and one of the leaders of that offensive line, who of course will not be playing tonight, Jason Peters.
Doug Peterson was pretty fired up when we talked to him.
He was.
Talking about the DN battle, the running back battle, the wide receiver battle. He said those guys need to finish strong. They need to prove themselves to me and everybody else and earn their spots. I wasn't expecting that from him, but talking about Josh Sweat, Deshaun Hall, Sharif Miller, he said they are going to play a lot and they're still fighting for that 4th DN spot active on game day.
And Ross, you as a player were in the situation where this game was important to you as an individual. You were there also at times when it wasn't as important to you as an individual. And you're one of those guys who is playing here tonight. There's a lot on the line. You're feeling a lot of it. How about the guys who aren't playing this evening? I mean, I know you. I've watched it over the years. I think this is my 8th year of doing this. What this means to the guys on the bench and how they're encouraging those guys who are out there.
Well, they know the situation for all the guys that are playing tonight. They know that they're on the bubble, or for some of them, this will probably be their last time ever playing football. They've gotten to know him over the last few months. They like him, and they want nothing more than to see those guys come out and play well and feel good about the performance they put on tape tonight.
Eagles won the toss. They're going to get the football first. Boston Scott back deep to return the kickoff. Did a pretty good job of returning those kicks. Jets kicker kicking it away is Taylor Bertolette from
Reading, Pennsylvania.
Yep, there you go.
My hometown. Taylor went to Exeter High School. He's bounced around trying to stick here, but going against his hometown team.
And a booming kick right through the back of the end zone, so a touchback as the Eagles will take over for their first offensive series. And it is going to be a start for Clayton Thorson. Saw him getting the encouragement on the sideline from Josh McCown, rookie out of Northwestern. Came into the game in a kind of a comeback situation last week, and it looked like the Eagles had all the momentum at that point. Unfortunately for Thorson, he didn't get an opportunity to do anything, or not to do much anyway, because of the lightning delay that ultimately stopped that game.
I think Doug Peterson was thinking the same thing we were, which is that maybe the Eagles could have an epic comeback. He was bummed out about that.
On the 25-yard line on first down, first throw, and Thorson right on the money, just across the 30 to the 31-yard line. The catch for Matt Collins. Take a look at the starting lineups, brought to you by Ticketmaster, the only official resale marketplace of the NFL, where 100% of the tickets are verified by Ticketmaster. Visit Ticketmaster.com/Eagles. Matt Pryor, Brett Toth get those tackle positions for this evening. Josh Perkins is your starting tight end. Hollins and Ward, along with Mark and Michelle, the starting wide receivers. And in the backfield, Wendell Smallwood now at second down and 4. He's the first look for Thorson on the wheel route. It's there, but just a little bit too strong. Pretty good step-for-step coverage down that far side by Blake Cashman, the rookie out of Minnesota.
Big difference for Clayton Thorson in the first 2 preseason games. Week 1, let's be honest, he really could not have been worse against the Titans in his first time out. Week 2 came in when Kessler got hurt and fared much better for the Eagles. And again, as you mentioned, Scott, really didn't get an opportunity last week, only 1 series.
He's got a third down now. The Eagles put it on the ground, and they're going to move the sticks. Came wide open in the middle for Smallwood as he gets it out near the 37-yard line, and that'll be a first down.
Seems like Smallwood is just Mr. Reliable. You know, with every year that he's been on the roster, there were times last year where he was their #1 running back in regular season games. Just based on the depth chart here in the summer, it looks like he's behind Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard and Darren Sproles, but he's done well every time he's gotten an opportunity.
He's got the football again. This time it closes down around him. And the Jets are going to throw him back for no gain on first down. Derek Kindred coming in to make the tackle for New York.
I mean, look at these guys, Scott. Howard, Sanders, Sproles, all 3 of those guys look like their spots are pretty secure. But then the reserves, Josh Adams, Corey Clement, Pumphrey, Boston Scott, Smallwood. I mean, Adams and Clement and Smallwood have all done really positive things in the NFL already.
Clement had a heavy workload last week. We're not expecting to see him tonight. Take that for whatever way you'd like. Flag on the play as Smallwood picks up 3 on that right side, but it came from deep back in the backfield. Craig Rolstad, the official tonight, the referee, I should say.
Illegal hands. Hands to the face. Defense number 98. It's a 5-yard penalty. Added to the end of the run. Automatic. First down.
Now the penalty on Kyle Phillips, the rookie from Tennessee, gives the Eagles their second first down.
And now in comes Josh Adams, who, as you see at the bottom, had a record for an undrafted rookie for the Eagles in terms of rushing, led the team in rushing last year as an undrafted rookie. Now, he had some really good games. I still remember that touchdown run against the Saints.
On first down, Thornton chased, dumping it off, and Adams is going to make that catch for a loss. Pretty well read by the Jets, a 5-yard loss on the play. Now, you know about these situations, and you know about guys who are playing tonight, guys who are not playing tonight. And you know, you've got to be ready, I guess, in any situation. The funny story that came up last year was about that guy when he was a New York Jet. And the Jets were playing the Eagles in Philly for the final game. He wasn't expected to play. He was the number 2 quarterback. And that afternoon, they traded Teddy Bridgewater. He walked into the locker room here, saw Teddy Bridgewater gone, and said, wait a minute. Ran off the bus, got him, he didn't have cleats with him. He had to go back to get cleats so he could be ready to play in the game because he realized they only had 2 quarterbacks. So, you know, he's on the sideline right now. He's got pads on. He is ready just in case.
Right. Well, I'm sure they said just as an emergency, they wanted to make sure that he had pads on. We're not expecting to see him tonight, but that happens every once in a while. Scott, I've been in locker rooms where a guy was expecting to be a backup and all of a sudden the starter can't go for whatever reason, whether he's sick or something flares up in warm-ups, and all of a sudden that guy's starting. So you always have to be ready.
On 3rd down, they've got to get it to the Jet 45. A lot of ground to pick up, and they're not going to get a whole lot of it. Another completed pass for a loss. Bronson Kafusi got in there and threw Smallwood down for a loss. That's going to bring the punting unit out for the Eagles.
Neither screen pass was very effective, but I'll say this, the offensive line with primarily 3rd string guys out there, very effective on that first drive in pass protection. Matt Pryor looking good at left tackle for the Birds.
Johnston going to punt it away from just inside his own 30-yard line. Had huge average last year of better than 48 yards. Brett Dortch back deep to wait for the fair catch for New York. He ended up flubbing the catch, but on the muff, he dives back on top of it, the 17-yard line, and that is where New York is going to start with their first offensive possession. Yeah, it's about special teams tonight. Got to get it done one way or another. Keep it crisp. Well, here in the Meadowlands, the defensive ends, Josh Sweat, Deshaun Hall, a couple of guys who are trying to fight for a spot along this defensive line. The Eagles starting unit that comes out for the first time tonight as the Jets begin just outside their own 17-yard line. And running the football on 1st down. Running it well out across the 25 for an 8-yard pickup. Defensive starters, Sweat and Hall. The ends, Trayvon Hester and Hassan Ridgeway in the middle of that Eagles defensive line unit. TJ Edwards and Alex Singleton. Starters at linebacker tonight. Hawkins, McKinnon, Harris, Elston, and Hall make up the defensive backfield. On 2nd down, Trevor Siemian firing. He dropped that one right in there for a 1st down to Josh Bellamy. Out to the 43-yard line, 15 yards on the pickup.
Doug Peterson said he's going to be watching these defensive ends. Watch Deshaun Hall getting some pressure on Siemian, getting a knockdown. First pass play of the game. Hall gets a knockdown. That's what he's done all preseason. Doug Peterson said it to us. He said it to the media. He is fired up to watch those defensive ends tonight and see what they can do. See who plays the best when the pressure is the highest.
After that 18-yard pickup, right back to work. And New York running the football again with Trenton Cannon.
Defensive end is a position, and really defensive line, offensive line, and quarterback more than any other, where the Eagles refuse to be short. You've got Barnett and Graham, Vinnie Curry. Those are your top 3 guys. And then Sharif Miller, Deshaun Hall, Josh Sweat. Those guys are all really battling for a 4th, maybe a 5th spot.
On 2nd down, quick throw once again. That's going to be good enough for 1st down yardage. Well, they might mark him just a tiny bit shy. Josh Hawkins there to make the stop.
You know what I just realized this is, Scott? This is a Northwestern night.
It is.
Northwestern against Northwestern quarterbacks.
That is correct.
The difference is Siemian has started a bunch of games in the NFL, and Thorson's a rookie, and Siemian looking pretty poised and pretty comfortable here in the early going for the Jets. What an advantage to have an experienced guy go tonight in week 4.
13-11 career as a starter is Trevor Siemian. He was the backup for the Vikings last year, did not play in a game. And a couple of yards on first down. Deshaun Hall gets a tackle.
And we've seen the pass rush stuff, Scott. That time against the run, they tried to block him one-on-one with the defensive end. You cannot let that happen. And the thing that Doug Peterson said, and even earlier in the summer, Jim Schwartz said with these guys, it's consistency. They know Sweat and Hall and Miller can flash. They need it down in, down out to trust them in big-time games this season.
Siemian throwing, Cannon with the catch. Nice play. Just nowhere to go at all. That tackle by Trey Elston, who was right on top of Cannon right after the catch.
Elston's made several nice tackles this preseason. He's a guy that was on the roster when they won the Super Bowl back in 2017. The whole team really is littered with guys that have been on and off the roster. Look at that form tackle. Did not lead with the helmet. Shoulder in there. It's well done. Gives him a chance here on third down.
Third, and we'll call it 5. They've got to get to the 37. Siemian chased out of the pocket. Throw, that's a nice adjustment to the football. Deontay Thompson really helped him on that play. And the Jets will move the sticks again.
Thompson's another guy who's been around the NFL for a while, so he and Siemian pretty savvy. They should have the edge over the inexperienced DBs that the Eagles are playing.
Blitz coming, it's picked up. And he threw to the right read, and Josh Bellamy on the near side. The 31-yard line for a 4-yard pickup.
Well, if nothing else, Josh Hawkins 48 and Jeremiah McKinnon 38, they have gotten a lot of reps this preseason. You know, with guys like Rasul Douglas and Sidney Jones only playing a series or two, and the injuries to Darby and Jalen Mills, and these guys have played 3 quarters plus of pretty much every game.
On the handoff, turned back inside very well by TJ Edwards as Elijah McGuire had nowhere to go.
TJ Edwards, the undrafted rookie from Wisconsin, has done a nice job in the run game during the preseason. Watch him read it, doesn't let the center get up on him, slides through and makes the tackle.
So it's 3rd and a long 4, the 10th play already of this drive. Siemian is yet to throw an incomplete pass so far, and looking to throw here on 3rd down. Pocket collapses, and right up on top of him, Hassan Ridgeway will get credit for the sack back at the 35, and the Jets are going to bring out the field goal unit.
Not a good sign there for Deshaun Hall, number 74. He was hurt earlier in the preseason with a shoulder injury. You can tell something's bothering him right there, and he's frustrated by it. He actually got double teamed there, Scott, at the tail end of that play, and the guard coming to help double him is what enabled Ridgeway to be able to get the sack.
So Taylor Bertolette comes out. So far, every attempt 40-plus yards this preseason. He's already hit a 56-yarder. This is a 53-yarder. The kid from Reading finally does miss from beyond 40 as he's wide to the right. Offense comes back on the field for the Eagles in a first quarter that's flying by.
Ridgeway will loop around. Hester pinches in, and watch the double team by Deshaun Hall. Late, the right guard will come to double team Hall, and that's what enables Ridgeway to get in there. Right in there, because the guard double teamed, Ridgeway gets the sack. So that's what hurt Hall. The right guard coming over and hitting him in the right shoulder neck area, that's what hurt Hall. But because they're so aware of Hall, on the stunt, Ridgeway was able to get the sack because the guard voided his space.
See those numbers and what an active preseason he has had, and trying to get after the quarterback.
And here's the look. Watch the right guard, 66. He'll come over and hit Deshaun Hall at the end of the play. Boom, right there. Side of the head, neck area.
He's going inside the 10.
So they're going to take a look at him. Remember, he did miss a practice earlier in training camp with a shoulder injury that he suffered. I think it was only one practice.
And remember, if somebody with a red hat is going in with him, they're checking for the fact that that was helmet-to-helmet contact. So the Eagles get it back after the missed field goal, and look at this. That is Ward. He's going to have first down yardage into Jets territory down to the 42, almost 17 yards on the play for Greg Ward.
He's been a fun player to watch every time they've given him the ball. It's just a reverse. He's following Ellis out there. And remember, he played quarterback at Houston, very comfortable in the open space. I guess what surprised me there is breaking the tackle of a linebacker. You know, he's really known as a slot receiver. To run through a linebacker speaks well of Ward's strength.
Well, the Eagles in Jets territory now for the first time. And on first down, Smallwood, good patience through the hole. And down inside the 25, they opened it wide for him. Two big plays now for the Eagles to begin things here on this drive.
It was a wham block. What does a wham block mean? You let the D tackle come up and then wham, you hit him right there. Josh Perkins, D tackle, had no idea what was coming. Nice block on the backside by Render 64. And this offensive line is doing the job. Nice job finishing the run by Smallwood, who's off to a good start tonight.
So you're saying it was basically a wake me up before you go kind of situation?
Nice.
You know, it's probably better if we just leave the booth now and take it down to Dave Spadaro.
Thanks, Scott. I'm here with Malik Jackson, new to Philadelphia. Welcome to Philly. Do you have a sense, Malik, having not played a game yet, of course, how good this team can be?
Oh, yeah, I think we can be great. You know, I think it's one of those things that we all work hard. We come to work prepared. We know what we're doing. And I've had a lot of not that many MAs out there. So it's one of those things that I think everybody's prepared to just get out here and show everybody what we have.
We are all looking forward to you and Fletcher working together. How long will it take for you guys to get together and be in sync, and how do you think it's going to go?
I think it's going to be pretty fast. You know, we've been walking through a lot, talking about a lot. So I think it's one of those things that once he just comes in, we're going to be like he never left. So I'm not worried about how the long or you know, what's going to go on. I think, oh, what happened?
You want to give some play-by-play here? We're live.
Yeah, we're live. Oh, sorry.
Play-by-play, that's all right. You got a second career going. Hey, final thing, Philadelphia, and your sense of the Eagles fans in the city of Philadelphia.
Oh, I love it. You know, it's a lot of culture, a lot of history, and it's one of my favorite things, just to ride around and just see what's going on. I think like the Betsy Ross house and all that kind of stuff. So it's cool.
Thanks, Malik. Malik Jackson, Philadelphia, we thank you for joining us. We go to break right now. The Eagles and the Jets, 0-0 in the first quarter at MetLife Stadium.
Gatorade, carbs to refuel, electrolytes to replenish.
Let's take another look, Scott, at that fumble. Cashman, 53, comes in. Smallwood has it. Cashman puts his helmet and shoulder right on the football. And if you're Wendell Smallwood battling for a potential roster spot, that's the kind of mistake that you cannot make in that situation. I'll say this, though. Like, in my day, Scott, that would have been a perfect form tackle. Nowadays, they could have called that. I mean, with the point of emphasis on forcible contact with the helmet, that was a lot of contact with the crown on number 53, Cashman's helmet.
I will go one step further. Last preseason, that would have been a penalty because they were really, really emphasizing it during the preseason games. Elijah McGuire dropped immediately by Sharif Miller, who steps in as Hall takes a seat and immediately makes a play.
Hall out, Miller in, the rookie from Penn State, lining up in the same spot. Going to be zone away. Watch him beat the block of the tight end, get down the line, make the play. You know, he was thought to be raw and a guy that might not be able to help the Eagles as a rookie. He's done a nice job. I mean, he's made several plays here in the preseason. I think more than people expected out of him, maybe. It's a good fourth-round pick.
Luke Falk is now in a quarterback for New York, but they continue a steady diet of running the football. Elijah McGuire gets it into Eagles territory. Let's go back down to Dave.
Hey, guys, injury update on Deshaun Hall. He is ready on the sidelines to go back in the game when needed. The shoulder is okay, and that is a sigh of relief for the Philadelphia Eagles defense.
That's good news, and you know he's probably chomping at the bit to get back into the game because his ability to prove what he can do tonight could end up going a long way to what ends up happening on Saturday. And whistles and flags at the snap of the football.
False start. Offense, number 15. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
The Eagles mugged up both their linebackers. That's when the linebackers get up near the line of scrimmage. And I think just that, getting up there and moving around a little bit, is what helped cause the false start. Sometimes you get those linebackers up there in the gaps. The offensive linemen get a little anxious, and even the receivers see movement and start to do something.
Falk in a lot of trouble, forced to throw it away. That was good coverage downfield. He had a little bit of time. The guy who closed on him at the end was Josh Sweat.
And he showcased a burst there. Everyone you talk to within the organization mentions Josh Sweat's burst. Watch the closing speed here. There's two other guys running, and Sweat is hawking him down. He can really go when he needs to, whether it's the burst off the line or right there, the closing speed. There's a reason why he was the #1 ranked high school player in the country as a junior before he tore his ACL as a senior in high school down in the Tidewater region of Virginia.
Humphrey allows that punt to hit, and it dies beautifully for New York. They're going to touch that down just inside the 10-yard line after a 42-yard punt in the closing seconds of the first. Visit PhiladelphiaEagles.com/NFL100 to cast your vote for the Eagles' greatest play ever. That certainly could be one of them, couldn't it? Strip sack in the Super Bowl that helped seal it. Philly special, same game. Miracle at the Meadowlands, the NFL Championship of 1960. Tell you what, there are plenty of them there, but we've talked about this. Philadelphia will never forget the Philly special.
No, and I think the name of it being the Philly special certainly helps.
No, it helps a lot. Thorson, wide open receiver, and that's going to be good for first down yardage in a big way up across the 30-yard line near the 35. Markin Michel, another big play.
Top of your screen, Michel's working against zone coverage, cover 2. That's the window you need to throw the ball into. If anything, you probably would have wanted Thorson to throw the ball a little bit sooner so that Michel could have caught it earlier and maybe made a move and not have to take the lick that he did. But a nice job by the former CFL standout of hanging on. Kill, kill, kill by Thorson means he's killing the first part of the play, then running the second part of it.
That is a run, changing direction, nowhere to go in the backfield. Phillips came in to make the play and dropped Wendell Smallwood back for a loss. 1 quarter in the books here in this final preseason game, and the Eagles and Jets are scoreless. The greatest rock and roll song of all time is Jungle Land, and that's the end of that argument.
If they play Don't Stop Believing at a wedding, don't get within 5 yards of me. Don't get within 5 yards. Uh-oh, speaking of 5 yards.
Jump in the route, and Marcus Cooper comes up with the interception. Second Eagles turnover here in the first 1 quarter plus.
Thorson kind of stared down Michel that time. And when you're playing against an experienced corner like Cooper, you can't look at him this long. Look how long he's looking at him, and then finally unloads it. Cooper broke on the ball pretty easily, gets in front of Michel, and that is an easy interception for Cooper and a rookie mistake for Clayton Thorson. That might have worked in the Big Ten, but if you're looking at a wide receiver for 2 seconds like that, that corner knows you're throwing the ball to him. He is going to break on that just like he did. Cannot try to fit it in there.
So the Jets a great opportunity now as they start this drive inside the Eagles' 35-yard line. Fox setting up a screen. And pretty good yardage down near the 25-yard line by Elijah McGuire.
How about my guy Aziz Shatu? Watch 67 right here. This is called a retrace on the screen. He reads it. Okay, it's a screen. They let me go too easily. Now let me chase and try to get an angle where I can maybe make a play here. Go in, try to swipe the ball. I love that. You know, Shatu is a guy trying to show the Eagles and everybody else what he can do. I love guys playing as hard as they can like he did right there. That was awesome.
Falk throwing, got his man just outside the 10-yard line, and a catch for Deontay Thompson, his second. 1st and 10 from the 11.
Thompson's at the bottom of your screen. It's a bootleg, which means he's going to run an over route right in the middle of the field. Looks like McKinnon was man-to-man on him. There's a lot of separation there. That's an easy throw and catch for Falk and Thompson. Love bootlegs, stuff like that in a preseason game, because it's a lot of young guys that are flying around trying to make plays. Use that momentum against them.
Falk swinging it out of the backfield. And McGuire gets down inside the 10. Alex Singleton helping to come up and make the play.
Singleton's flashed this preseason. I remember early in training camp, he made a couple hits and they had to tell him to calm down a little bit. 25 years old, played in the CFL just like Michelle. But he's shown up a number of times this preseason.
Been a part of the practice squad of the Seahawks, the Patriots, and the Minnesota Vikings. On 2nd down, McGuire's got room. That's a nice tackle. Probably a touchdown-saving tackle for Josh Hawkins.
Hawkins is a corner that tackles better than he covers. I don't mean that as a negative. Tackling is important at corner. I mean, coverage is probably more important, obviously, but you need to tackle sometimes too. Watch step up. This is an open field tackle right there by Hawkins. McGuire might go a long way if Hawkins doesn't make that play right there.
3rd down, they can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown. Jets 1 for 3 on 3rd down tonight. Falk chased out of the pocket. On the run. Got hit as he was on his way out of bounds, and here comes the flag. Ball was incomplete, but that hit came as he was on his way out of bounds.
And it was Singleton.
Yep, he was over the white line. Well, he wasn't quite over the white line. The ball was long gone, and he is a quarterback.
What I don't understand is Craig Rolstadt was right
Personal
there.
foul. Blindside block. Offense, number 65. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is 4th down.
How about that?
Good legal hit by Singleton. I had the first initial reaction you did was that was probably why they threw the flag, but then when we watched the replay there in Rolstadt, the referee didn't throw the flag.
Yep.
Seemed pretty clear it couldn't have been on Singleton.
So it's 4th down, and the Jets are going to try to take some points here, get on the board. It amounts to a chip shot field goal coming for Bertolet, 23 yards. And he bangs it through for the game's first points. A lot of activity and some emotion here for the guys out on the field tonight. The network more people rely on gives you more, like thousands of tickets to NFL games with the Verizon Up Rewards program. And here at MetLife Stadium, the conversation on the sidelines. 3 guys who will figure very prominently into what happens beginning a week from Sunday. A higher, shorter kick, and Boston Scott's going to get a chance to return it. He had a lane up the middle, got it out across the 25 and called it the 27-yard line, maybe the 26. Blake Cashman has been hitting hard for New York, made the stop on special teams.
Well, we know what the Eagles have in Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey, and Nelson Aguilar, but all these reserves have made plays in the preseason at different times. And literally every single guy. Agadosi, the big body near the sideline. Ortega-Whiteside was big last week. Hollins on special teams against the Jags. Michelle, the touchdown against the Titans. Tompkins, Ward's made plays. Good group overall.
Dorsett throwing quickly. He had to throw it quickly. He waited one more brief moment, and Marcus Cooper could have come up with a second interception, but Michel hauls it in out of the 31.
There's Mac Hollins. Talking with Doug Peterson, you know, Mac Hollins was a guy that he really wanted to see tonight. Wanted to see him at wide receiver, wanted to see him at special teams. Missed the entire season a year ago with the groin injury.
At 14.1 yards per catch average was the highest the Eagles had by any receiver since Deshaun Jackson back in 2008. Not a whole lot there on second down. It'll bring up a third down and long.
There you got Greg Ward, who's really more of an inside slot guy. That's the thing too, you know, if you're trying to make a decision about a roster spot or two, it's almost like, Scott, what kind of ice cream flavor do you like? What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Honest?
Yeah. Don't say like vanilla or something, dude.
I wasn't going to say that.
Can you say something? You don't like ice cream?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Moose Tracks or cookies and cream are the right answers. But my point is, you could like cookies and cream, I could like Moose Tracks. They're both acceptable, but one might be Mac Hollins, one might be Greg Ward.
Do you need me here for this? Do you need me here for this conversation?
Look, I gave you 3.8 seconds, which is an eternity on television, to give me your favorite ice cream flavor. You still haven't given me one.
Haagen-Dazs vanilla chocolate chip.
That's good. I like that you went brand too.
Yeah.
You trying to get like a sponsorship deal?
I was thinking. I don't know. Now, once again, the punting unit out for the Eagles, and you watch a little bit more of what's going on special teams wise. By the way, look at the doubles on both of the gunners.
That is not fun.
It's a good punt. And pretty good coverage downfield by the Eagles special teams unit.
Both gunners actually ended up doing a pretty good job on that one. Jane A. Harris, Boston Scott, Trey Elston met him at the returner.
Let us know where you're watching from using the hashtag EaglesEverywhere for a chance to be featured on this broadcast.
There we are. I tagged you there too. You probably didn't even notice it.
I actually did. Really appreciate it, by the way. Just tell me what tag means.
It means it says who's in this picture, and I said at Scott Wipeout.
Thanks. Now the argument about whether or not Shitu was drawn into the neutral zone in that contact by Jordan Morgan. He believes it.
Jordan Morgan went to Kutztown University.
He did.
That's Eastern Berks County there. Division II, PSAC. Really good football in the PSAC. Much better than people realize.
False start, offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Jordan's persuasive skills, however, are not very good.
I thought you were pointing at me like I jinxed him. I said we wouldn't even start talking about him until after he false started.
See, the Stanford guy stepped up, made his argument, and it goes 5 yards back.
Andy Mitchell is from Kutztown.
Pride of. On first down, Falk throws across the middle, finds his tight end Eric Tomlinson for a short gain. Let's take you back down to Dave Spadaro.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with the best right tackle in the NFL, Lane Johnson. Lane and the offensive line will be featured in ESPN, the magazine's body issue on September 6th. What was that like, Lane, and how would you describe this offensive line's body collectively? Who's got the best one?
I feel like it was a very good bonding experience for us, just being in an unnatural environment and coming together like that to make the presentation come out like it did. I think as far as the best body, I'd probably say Big B, just from the looks of it and just all the hard work you put in during the offseason.
Hey, Lane, in 10 days, it's the Eagles and the Redskins. It's Ryan Kerrigan. You guys have a great rivalry. What can we look forward to in that matchup?
Just another consistent, grit to the end. I mean, he's a very gritty player, plays to the whistle, very consistent. I feel like he's been kind of the heartbeat of that team for, at least year after year. So, just be another great challenge for me. I mean, all the respect to him.
How do you ramp up kind of day to day so you peak on Sunday?
My whole deal is I got to tone down because we're always pretty ramped up there in the locker room, especially, the opening week. It always gets like this, but I feel like the energy level's high. Guys are excited. Football season's back, so what more can you ask for?
Lane Johnson, thanks so much. Have a great season.
Thank you.
Now penalties back in the Jets up now as they are back at their own 14-yard line with a 2nd down and long. Falk throwing late. Not going to be a whole lot there.
Look who's back. And look where he's living again, Scott, in the backfield. Deshaun Hall right there, working against the right tackle. Power move here, extends the long arm and gets another pressure on the quarterback. You know, most of what he's done has been with his hand usage, 2-hand wipes, clubs, and getting by offensive tackles cleanly. I like the change up there. They're not looking for power from Hall, so he gave it to him.
Not a whole lot of room to run as they were just merely trying to get a couple of extra yards on 3rd down and long for their punter. Eagles defensive unit does a good job in that turn.
Hall's mad he didn't make the play there. They ran a stunt. This is called a TE. Tackle goes up the field and loops around, gets in there, just not quite able to make the play, and he's frustrated at himself. But honestly, on 3rd and forever, that's enough right there. I mean, to get in there, show the agility to make that play. Anytime you hear him say a stunt, Scott, whether it's T-E-E-T, the first letter is the guy that's penetrating. So T-E, the tackle is the penetrator. The second letter, the E in that sense, is the looper. Right now, whatever Deshaun Hall is doing, he's doing it extremely. I mean, I think the fact that he's out there tonight and the fact that Doug Peterson told us he really wanted to see what he could do says a lot.
On 1st down, Hollins was the man in motion. That's where Thornson's looking. Instead, he checks down and throws it too low for Adams. Ball's incomplete.
A lot of times you get in these 4th preseason games and you have a lot of 3rd-string offensive linemen in, and it becomes really difficult to move the football. These guys are doing a good job. Pryor at left tackle, Opeta, Herbig, Fabiano. Fabiano sounds like a guy that should pose in the ESPN body issue, doesn't he?
Fabiano, that would
Fabiano?
be the, yeah.
Isn't that the name of the guy that, like a model dude? What's the guy's name?
It's not Fabiano.
Something like that.
Nowhere for Adams to go. Trying to be patient to see if something would open up, and nothing would. No gain on the play.
Not really his game. Once he stops his feet, he's dead. He's not an agility guy. He's not really a jump cut guy. He is a speed and power guy. He gets that momentum going, runs well, big back, but just isn't really agile in the hole.
Fabio. 3rd down. They got to get it to the 42.
That's right.
Thorson has a little bit of time. Here comes the rush. That throw is incomplete. He was trying to find Agudosi, but the Eagles are going to be forced to punt it away after a 3 and out.
He had enough time there. Couldn't really find anybody open. So far, it seems like the Jet secondary doing a pretty good job against the receivers the Eagles are playing tonight. Look at Josh McCown right there. One of the reasons, by the way, they signed Josh McCown. Doug Peterson told us he liked the idea of Carson Wentz having a veteran mentor in the room and having a guy like that that can provide some added value.
Another set of eyes, another set of ears, and a guy who's done it for a long time in the National Football League level. Dortch going to let this one bounce. It takes a Jets bounce, and Singleton downs it. New York going to take over at their 24-yard line. Singleton and the linebackers come out now for this next drive midway through the 2nd.
Linebacker's an interesting position because Camus Grugier-Hill is out with an injury, as you can see. Nigel Bradham has not played in the preseason. He's coming back from an injury. So some of these reserves, TJ Edwards, LJ Fort, Nathan Gary, Alex Singleton, they've gotten a lot of snaps this preseason to show what they can do. Here comes the blitz.
Blitz isn't going to get there, and that throw to the far side complete to Josh Bellamy. Well, a good read on the part of Luke Falk as he gets 9 yards on 1st down.
As a general rule, that's usually a pretty good idea. When the blitz is coming from one side, throw it to the other side, and that's exactly what Falk did.
Falk is a guy who was waived by Miami in the spring, and he is competing if they have a 3rd quarterback on the roster. He's competing hard for that spot tonight. Nowhere to go for Elijah McGuire. And he is thrown for a big loss on the play. Good penetration.
It was Miller first, and then Wilkins cleaned up. Let's see what they did. It's a zone read, and that's not what Falk should do there. If the defensive end closes like that, Falk needs to pull the ball and run with it. Good job by Wilkins finishing the play, though. Falk is reading Miller. If Miller goes down the line, he needs to pull the ball and run it himself.
Type of read we've seen became very, very effective in the NFL a couple of years back. Falk's going to duck and run himself here, and he's got a first down. Out across the 35 to the 36.
You know, the Eagles will do that every once in a while with Carson Wentz. They'll do a zone read, and he'll pull the ball and go around the edge. And even there you see Falk run for a first down. That's a big part of Wentz's game. It was nice getting a chance to talk with him about that.
Tell me, by the way, that became so effective, and there's Carson talking on the sideline to Thorson as he gives him a little bit of encouragement and perhaps some instruction too. It seemed for a while that was going to be a play that nobody could stop, or people were talking about it. How do you possibly stop it? The NFL figured out a way to stop it.
They did. I think you just have to have a plan for it, and especially if you know a team likes to use it, you got to know what the situations are where it might be coming. I thought it was interesting, Scott. I asked Carson yesterday, I said, hey, are you going to run the ball less because of the injuries? And he said, you know, it's not going to be a conscious thing. He's still going to take off sometimes and run with it, but he thinks just his familiarity with the offense will enable him to get rid of the ball quicker, make faster decisions, and not be in as many positions where he has to run. That made sense to me. That seemed logical.
I don't think Aziz Shittu is going to win this argument, but I could be wrong.
If he wins this one.
False start. Wow. Offense. Number 64. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You got a traffic ticket? Aziz is your guy.
He is 2 for 2. John Toth, the center for the Jets, just ever so slight. Look at him. He got a smile on his face. Just ever so slightly leaned back. And Shittu was on it. That's good. He's all over any movement he sees of the ball or the center.
Dangerous throw, but completed and for positive yardage. And a flag coming in late in the play up by the 40-yard line.
Holding. Offense, number 10. 10-yard penalty, replay. Second down.
Deontay Thompson was right next to him.
Second impressive retrace by Aziz Shittu. Watch him. Retrace is you chase down a play as a defensive lineman from the back. Watch the hustle here. He's going to run all the way and make that play. Man, between his retraces on the screen passes and drawing off sides, Shittu's making a lot of plays.
Active night so far here in this first half.
And really, Scott, that's what I root for all these guys. No matter what's going to happen on Saturday, I want them to feel good about what they did tonight.
Falk throws, that's complete. He swarmed to the ball on Daniel Brown just across the 35. Again, TJ Edwards right there.
He's the guy that's made a bunch of tackles here in the preseason. He and Singleton both. They've played a lot. They've made a lot of tackles. For young guys, I feel like they've acquitted themselves pretty well. That's what he did at Wisconsin as well. The knock or the concern on Edwards was just his straight line speed. Did not run a great 40 time at the combine, which is why he was not selected.
This first half is being played at a speed like Greg Maddux is pitching. And now you've got a strip of the football and a recovery by the Eagles. Deshaun Hall made the play getting in and knocked it loose, and the first big opportunity of the night comes inside the Jet 30.
Deshaun Hall going to go around the edge. Watch the hands. He is so good with his hands. Left hand wipe, get off of me. I'm coming in. Strip sack again. He has been the star of this team in the preseason. Frankly, one of the stars of the entire NFL in the preseason. I mean, his stats are off the charts. And we still have more than a half to play in this one.
That was a dive by Elijah McGuire who got that ball back. I was sure that Kevin Wilkins was going to recover that. As it is, the Eagles will take it back via the punt. And Pumphrey had a tough catch. Looked like he misjudged. That's good coverage downfield. It's going to knock him back. With 2:33 left to go here in the first half. What's going to happen this weekend as we wrap up here on Thursday night? Saturday at 4 p.m., the final roster cuts. Then on Sunday at noon, waiver claims are due. And Sunday at 1 p.m., teams can sign players to the practice squad.
Right, and so what that means in terms of waiver claims is guys that get cut, you can put a claim on them and try to get them on your roster, and teams have to see who was or was not claimed before they can know who's even eligible for their practice squad.
But if you're claiming that player from another team, it has to be on your roster.
Active roster, 53-man roster, correct.
First down. Thorson would love to get a little something going here, but he can't, as he is sacked on the play by Kyle Phillips, the rookie out of Tennessee.
Working against Matt Pryor, who's playing left tackle tonight. Watch Matt Pryor. He's played both guards, both tackles. Pretty nice set there. Gets his hands on him, just swings the gate right away. He stopped his feet when he went to punch. You got to keep the feet moving when you punch with your hands. If you don't, and they get a good hand wipe, you're done.
So, 2 minutes to go here in the first half. So the Eagles Executive Vice President and General Manager Howie Roseman. Santander Bank treats you and your money with respect. Learn more about how respect adds up by visiting santanderbank.com. Then we'll review the Temple halftime stats. Temple University, Philadelphia's public university, is a proud partner of our Philadelphia Eagles. Tell you what, Doug's got a smile on his face talking to the guys in the striped jerseys tonight. You know why? The Eagles don't have a first half penalty.
Wow, stark contrast to the first 3 preseason games where all the penalties really drove him nuts. I'll be interested to hear Dave's interview with Howie at halftime. This is one of the best rosters the Eagles have ever had. I mean, he's really done a nice job. A lot has to go right during the season, health and all those things, win the close games late, but it really is a beautiful roster. They're going to cut some good players that, speaking of waiver claims, will end up getting claimed and playing for other teams this year. That's what you want. I mean, you want to be a good team and you cut some guys that get picked up by bad teams.
Thorson throwing. It's going to be complete to Will Tye, who used to play in this building for the New York Giants. Oh, check that. It was Joshua Perkins.
Perkins could have a role on this team, and it could be quick. You know, with Richard Rodgers out with the foot injury, the Eagles like to use a lot of 2 tight end formations with Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert, who, by the way, looked good on the field before the game, running around catching some passes. So if anything were to happen to either one of those guys, it right now would appear to be Josh Perkins' turn.
Third down, they got to get it to the 30. Thorson throwing and incomplete. He felt a lot of pressure coming and had to get rid of the football before he ended up taking a shot from Frankie Louvu. And 1:14 to go now. Jets have 3 timeouts. They're going to be getting the football back.
Well, I was just explaining what a TE is. Tackle up and loops around. Render, the right guard from Iowa, has to see that sooner. Played center in Iowa, so he's not really used to passing off stunts like that. But you really got to throw that tackle. You got to shove him, Scott, out to the offensive tackle and then pop off your outside foot back inside to redirect and get a piece of that end looping around.
Johnson's punt. Tim White now in to do the return duties. And from his own 28. Good coverage downfield. Nowhere to go. And guess who was there again? Alex Singleton. Right in on that play after the 53-yard punt. -2 on the return.
Singleton and Ellis got in the play. 48-49, both nice leverage. And they swallowed White up.
Good stuff. So as we said, 1:03 to go here in the half. And New York does have all 3 timeouts. Falk across the middle to Daniel Brown. That's become a familiar refrain. And out at the 33-yard line, TJ Edwards again on the tackle.
I never really got to do that, but I wonder what that's like if you're Brown. You catch a pass over the middle, you know Singleton and Edwards are behind you and they're about to smash you. I don't know if that's real fun.
Falk throwing again right to the middle. Yep. Except this time, Deontay Burnett kind of had a little bit of room to move. He got himself a first down and a quick timeout now with 35 seconds left to go in the half. The 2019 Eagles Radiothon presented by Santander is underway. Visit EaglesRadiothon.com to check out the amazing experiences you can bid on now that the auction is live.
It's pretty clear to me that the Jets' goal is to enable Alex Singleton to set the record for tackles in the preseason game.
There's Merrill Reese and Mike Quick. Venerable radio crew.
Legends. How about Merrill Cam? PhiladelphiaEagles.com. I love that thing. Merrill Cam, where they have the camera on Merrill when he gets excited.
And he does get excited. Falk bought some time and got himself the completion to Brown on the sideline, stepping out of bounds with 29 seconds left in the half.
Sharif Miller getting some pressure there, but not enough. Doug Peterson's having a blast.
This is probably one of the last times he's going to have just a reasonably relaxed eye on a few players kind of thing. Everything gets ratcheted up after this is done. Falk throwing, got it to Bellamy. And give the Jets credit, they are moving the ball down the field into Eagles territory, getting close to field goal range now.
Bottom of the screen. McKinnon's playing zone. He's letting them run off. You really want the safety to try to get underneath that right there. Problem is that safety, number 37, Jason Thompson, they signed him 2 days ago. So he's really just trying to figure out what he's supposed to be doing out there. Not able to get underneath that route. Could have been a golden opportunity for him.
Falk throwing, and just nobody saw where that ball was going because it was way over the head of the intended receiver, Deontay Thompson. Everybody kind of looked up and they realized that ball had just sailed well over his head. Nobody really had a play at it.
You know, it used to be that the Mike Leach coached quarterbacks could never really stick in the NFL. But a couple weeks ago, we had Gardner Minshew with the Jags. Tonight, Luke Falk. I think people are realizing the value of guys that get the ball out of their hands quickly and are accurate.
Falk was a walk-on at Washington State before earning a scholarship there, and that throw is too tall for Bellamy, his intended receiver. You got 15 seconds now left. Jets still do have the 2 timeouts left, so the third down play, they still have an opportunity.
All right, let's talk game situation here for both the Eagles and the Jets. For the Jets, they really want to try to get 5 to 10 yards here. Obviously, 10 would be nice to get the first down, but at a minimum, they want to give their young kicker, Bertolet, who's from Reading, by the way, we only mentioned that 3 times, that's 4. He's from Reading, Pennsylvania, to give him a chance. You want to get a young kicker as many opportunities like that as possible, and the Eagles need to know that.
Falk ends up overthrowing. Now remember, we told you Bertolet has already hit from 56 here in the preseason, so I don't think they're going to be shy about running him out here right now.
This is a big opportunity for him, because even though he's the only kicker listed on the roster right now, the reality of the NFL is you're really competing against everybody.
So he's hit from 56 once here in the preseason, trying to do the same now. And a timeout called for by the Eagles. Take that opportunity. Once again, thinking in terms of game situation, how much game situation stuff does go on in a preseason game, especially when you start talking about the 4th preseason game?
More than you think, because I think you want to make sure that your guys are staying sharp. They're still working on 2-minute. They're still working on Hail Marys. They're still working on end-of-half, late-game field goal situations like this. Just because the starters aren't playing doesn't mean you want them to get rusty in that regard. And right now, they're even telling the guys down in the field, on the sideline, hey, right here, we want to try to get out of bounds, get a field goal attempt. You're trying to do those type of things, constantly working game situations.
Run 56, and that's going to be a second miss of a half from Bertolet. Each one wide to the left, each one better than a 50-yard attempt. With 6 seconds left to go here in the half, you would imagine the Eagles will take a knee and wrap up a very quiet offensive first half in this final preseason game.
Doesn't really feel like a 3-0 half, though. I mean, it felt like the teams moved the ball a little bit better than that. It wasn't overly ugly on the offensive side of the ball. We've had some of these other games where there have been so many penalties.
This half was no comparison to the first half last week, in which everything went wrong for the Eagles. Finally turned it around with a strong second half. But the guys who are trying to make an impression here tonight are halfway done in this final game of the preseason. And the Eagles leave the field trailing by 3. Down to Dave Spadaro.
All right, here with head coach Doug Peterson. Doug, a lot of players fighting for jobs. What have you seen in that first half? What jumps out at you?
I mean, the effort's great. That's what you want to see out of these guys. Fourth preseason game. Things we got to clean up. Obviously, the 2 turnovers were huge, allowed them to get 3 points. But I think defensively, kind of keeping us in the game offensively, and then we just got to make more plays on offense. We got to get the running game going just a little bit, but these guys are really battling.
Top 3 draft picks not playing in this game with Eller, with Andre, with JJ, with Miles. What have you seen from them through the preseason?
They've done an extremely great job. Number one, coming in, learning our system. It's not an easy system to pick up. And then getting extensive time in practice in some of these preseason games, especially early on, have shown us enough to prepare themselves for the regular season.
Doug, thanks so much.
Thank you.
So halftime here at the Meadowlands, and as we said, we have seen some emotion. We've seen some high motor plays, and we've seen a 3-0 game in half number 1. To start the third quarter, the Eagles are going to be kicking off, but, well, this kickoff's going to be a little different. Explain.
Yeah, Cam Johnston almost looks like when it's a safety, he's going to do a drop kick here. Oh, that is awesome.
You just do not see that every day. And a drop kick to begin the second half, and also great coverage downfield. How about fighting off a blocker? And downfield, Adebali makes the play on special teams.
Watch Johnson with the drop kick. I think this is kind of an emergency situation. If anything were to ever happen to Elliott, this is what they would do. They'd have Johnston come out on kickoffs and do a drop kick. Pretty effective. How about this? The last game I played for the Patriots,
Doug Flutie.
2005, Doug Flutie on an extra point. Kicked the drop kick. That's the only regular season game I actually played in New England. And I always tell people it was the Flutie drop kick game, and they know exactly what I'm talking about.
There you go. That's a running the ball frequently in that first half. Part of the reason why it moved along as quickly as it did. DeAndre Hall, Chris Worley in on that tackle after a 9-yard gain on first down for New York.
Sometimes teams run the ball a lot in the last preseason game, as a way to keep the game moving and also reduce the chance of injury. I can remember playing for Buffalo one year, Scott, against the Lions, and the safeties were like 2 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Davis Webb, the new quarterback for New York, gets him a first down, finding Eric Tomlinson on that far sideline.
Were you ever a long hair guy?
What do you think?
Maybe, like when you were in college? Or?
What do you think? For what you know about me, what do you think?
I'm going to go no.
That's a very good guess.
You didn't even know what your favorite ice cream was.
I knew, I just didn't want to say.
Do you ever have dreads?
Let's go with a no on that one too.
Okay. Ronald Darby. You ever have a fro?
No. Never even got a perm.
Robbie Anderson, there's a Temple guy right there. I don't even know what you call that.
Guys, I had a perm, like a very light perm, back in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd that go?
It went with every other bit of my hair.
Picture, I don't believe you.
Ross, you got it, man.
Let's see how good our research team really is.
All right, I'll figure this out. I'll try to send you a picture of my graduation, my high school graduation picture. I'll figure this out. Long hair, it was great. Long time ago, obviously.
See, it's all fun and games, but see Shitu, slow to get up, gets up under his own power. Zach Ertz is here tonight at the Meadowlands. However, it's another event that's going on at Lincoln Financial Field tonight, and Zach had to at least feel the need to lend a little bit of a spiritual hand.
What's up, everyone? Zach Ertz here, and I want to welcome everyone to Lincoln Financial Field. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be at the game tonight, but I wish I could. But I'm in New Jersey right now, about to take on the Jets with my team. So excited for this game. Victory tour. Philly, bring the noise. Julie, I love you. Team, good luck. One nation, one team, baby.
That is some nice stuff. They're up 3-0, so apparently a very good inspirational speech by Zach Ertz. And Carly Lloyd, who you've seen an awful lot about in the news after making that 55-yard field goal at Eagles practice facility, has a goal in that game. 3-0 lead. Great penetration into the backfield, and that's that on a 3rd down and short. Kevin Wilkins, the rookie out of Rutgers.
So happy for that young man to make a play like that. Look at number 78 right there, working against the center, explodes up, rips through, makes a big play there. Played at Rutgers. We've told his story before. His mother had a drug addiction, so at age 6, Kevin Wilkins was taken from her, 14 different foster homes, and found a way to get a scholarship to Rutgers and get on an NFL roster. And he's made some plays this preseason. What an unbelievable story of overcoming adversity.
That it is. And an opportunity to make a big play, and you know what for him is an important game. Thorson will come back out as the offense takes the field for the first time here in the second half. 7 for 13 so far, and has thrown an interception.
Had some good throws early, but really the second quarter struggled, was late with some throws. Kind of the up and down performance you'd expect from a rookie.
Boston Scott, the man in the backfield to begin the second half, and he doesn't have a whole lot of room to move on first down. In fact, he'll lose a yard back to the 16.
Same offensive line has been in the whole game so far, across the board.
They knew they were going to get a lot of work in this game tonight.
I think they only have 6 guys dressed. 7.
Up on top, Thorson trying to get it out there. Agudosi has been a favorite target of his this preseason, but up over the top.
Well, the Eagles have one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line in the NFL. Those 5 starters right there, for my money, the best in the league. But then it's the depth. I mean, you think about guys like Dillard, Mailata, certainly what we've seen from Vaitai especially. Those guys have done some really, really good things, even just in the preseason. Some of these other guys as well, Wisniewski and Herbig. They've got tremendous depth.
3rd down. Forcing a little bit of time. Dumps it down to Boston Scott. He gets outside the 20. That's still well short of the first down. And the punting unit will come on once again for the Eagles. Jason Peters.
How about this, Scott? His rookie year, Jason Peters did not even suit up for the 4th preseason game because they cut him on Tuesday of that week. He was with me in Buffalo.
He was a tight end at the time, wasn't he?
He was a tight end, and back then they had to cut to 65 the Tuesday of the last week. So they cut him to 65. I remember seeing him in the hotel in Buffalo saying, "What are you still doing here?" He said, oh, they're going to put me on practice squad. So he just hung out in the hotel for 5 days from the Tuesday cut to the Sunday cut because they knew they wanted to keep him on practice squad, but they needed other guys to dress for the final game.
What a turn that story took before it all got to its end, probably in Canton, Ohio. Eagles Kids Club is the perfect gift for the young Eagles fan in your life. Members receive an awesome welcome kit, access to exclusive events, and much more for just $20. Join now at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/kidsclub. First preseason game, fourth preseason game, doesn't matter. They're having a good time.
I think there might be more Eagles fans here than Jets fans.
I don't think there's any doubt.
It's close. The Eagles travel so well.
Carson Wentz told us that this week. He was in Israel when he got stopped by somebody. How about that? The dump off to Valentine Holmes, who makes the play, and he's going to have first down yardage out across the 26. Trayvon Hester makes the stop.
Hester's a Pittsburgh guy, was on the roster last year. Really known more as a run stuffer, but got some pressure there. Right there, working it. Let's see what he does. Bull rush, extend, then rip through against Jordan Morgan, the Kutztown Bear. Good job by Hester. He's going to be a power rusher. That's how he's got to have success.
Once again, it's Hester. Stuffing the run for a loss of a yard.
Went to Toledo. A lot of those Pittsburgh guys end up playing in the MAC. Like out at Akron, Toledo. Seems like there's a lot of MAC guys in the NFL, considering it's, you know, a Group of 5 conference, and really not even has the brand recognition of the AAC or some of these other schools.
Webb's getting it out quickly again. This time Holmes is chopped down right after the catch by DeAndre Hall. A good play by Hall.
It is, and he's made several this preseason. You know, tackling is really his forte with his size. It's a good read by him. Now you want to go, if you can, get your helmet on the front side. Wasn't really quite able to do it. And your head up, but able to make the play. 3rd and long. Let's see what these rushers do. Sharif Miller, Eli Harold, edge guys.
Webb's got a little time, gets the completion. Did he get the first down?
It is close.
Looks like they're marking him so that he did. Greg Dortch makes the catch, and they are going to give him first down yardage. Jane Harris doesn't exactly agree.
Not a lot of pass rush there from the Eagles. Hall and Sweat are not out there, so you wonder if the Eagles have seen enough from those guys, and it'll be Harold and Miller the rest of the way.
On the handoff, not much there, and Alex Singleton makes another play as we take you down to Dave Spadaro.
How's everything going?
It's going great. Just really enjoyed being a part of the group. The team that Howie and Doug put together. It's a bunch of good men in the locker room, and so it's fun to be a part of a good organization. And you know, they've been very welcoming, and just excited to be a part of it.
Josh, explain to the fans, how does it work? You come to Philadelphia with, I guess, a duffel bag full of stuff. Like, where do you live? Like, how do you get all your earthly possessions? How's that work?
Yeah, earthly possessions. I mean, you just kind of load up a bag, and they put us up in a hotel, you know, for training camp, and you know, kind of sort out, you know, the season long, like where you're going to live later. But right now, my focus is just getting the playbook, learning it as best I can, and you know, move forward after that. So all the other stuff will sort itself out. But it's a crazy transition. You kind of pack as much as you can, because you know you're going to be here for a while, and then get yourself ready to go.
And you still have plans to go to Charlotte on Fridays and do some coaching for your sons?
Yes, after practice. So I won't be missing any Eagles stuff.
Make that clear.
Yeah, make that clear. Yeah, after practice, I won't miss any Eagles stuff. I'll go and try to get down there and just be around the kids and you know, help where I can. So we worked very hard through the spring and through the summer with that group, and so you know, to be a part of it is an honor. They got a good football team, got a great head coach, and And so, yeah, but I won't miss any Eagle stuff. It's my focus is here, and that's where it should be. But in the free time, if I can get down there, it'll be fun to catch a few games.
Josh, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Davis Webb airing it out twice. He completed the first, could not complete the second.
I love Josh McCown, but when you said we're going down to Dave Spadaro, I thought we were going to see a picture of the perm from high school.
I don't think he could get it that quickly.
Why not? He can just text his mom, take a picture of the yearbook, text it to me, and then he can show it on the screen.
You got it all worked out, don't you?
Are you trying to tell me you don't want to see Spuds with a perm in high school?
I'm still trying to decide. Second down and 10 for the 28th. And back to the ground now for New York. Get a couple. It's of course a team that is going to be relying on the running artistry of Le'Veon Bell when their regular season gets underway. He's not played in the preseason for the Jets.
Deshaun Hall is back in. Third and long. Opportunity for Deshaun Hall. Watch him at the top of the screen. Let's see what he does. This is what Doug Peterson and the Eagles are watching right now. They just brought the tight end in to help chip on him, I think.
They did. Except he didn't. And that spinning move, get down to about the 22-yard line. It'll make the field goal attempt that's coming a little bit shorter for New York. TJ Edwards in on the play. It was Hall bringing the pressure. Couldn't quite get there. So once again, Taylor Bertolet. Where's he from?
Reading, Pennsylvania. Exeter High School, played at Texas A&M. I know he's on the Jets, but come on, man, hit it. Hit it for the hometown. Represent.
He's 1 for 3 tonight. Make it 2 for 4.
Boom. Right down the middle.
39 yards for Bertolet, who's had a very good preseason, and it's a 6-0 New York lead. Great photos during this preseason. We've enjoyed seeing all the different locations from where you're watching the game, including in the truck. They have to be watching the game. And they don't have much of a choice. And so where are we going? UK, Bolivia.
That is unbelievable.
It is amazing. From the stadium. Even Texas. Phoenix.
I love this.
Oh, this is terrific.
A lot of Eagles fans here.
A booming kick out of the back of the end zone. The Eagles will take over at their 25 for Clayton Thorson. This is what you had to say this morning about this game.
Yeah, I got a lot of Debbie Downer replies to this one, but it's true. I mean, a lot of guys playing tonight are going to end up getting cut on Saturday and probably never put the helmet and pads on again. And they're the best players ever from their hometown. You know, a lot of times you don't think about that. You think about Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz and all those guys, and rightfully so, but these guys are very, very good football players who might just come up a little bit short. And the weird thing is, Scott, you have no closure. You don't really know it's your last game.
That's true.
You know, my buddies that stopped playing at the end of high school, they knew our last high school game that they were done. Or in college, most of the guys knew in our last game, okay, they were done. As an NFL player, you really don't know, especially if you're one of these bubble guys in the preseason, you really don't know that it's over for you.
The last throw from Thorson looked like a number of the throws that he made in the first preseason game, where he was missing high. This time he lays it right there, and he gets a little bit of help from his tight end, Alex Ellis, laying out for the first down. Pride at Delmar, Delaware.
Good throw there by Thorson. Good extension right here. Ellis in the slot. Gonna run off the linebacker, cross the face. Actually, that's a safety. Good hands.
Great job of staying with that catch.
That's a catch.
Scott trying to find a corner to turn. There haven't been many tonight. Jeff's done a pretty good job of stopping the run against the Eagles offensive line that's been on the field all night.
O-line has done a much better job pass protecting than they have in the run game. Just haven't really been able to get anything going on the ground. Oh, it's a red pen tonight. Look, he red penned that one.
So it's not just writing it, it's red pen.
That was a red pen. Now, is he red penning everything, or was that
seems like
especially bad?
No, I think it's just a red pen. Agadosi, that big target on that far side, up to the 47-yard line, couple of yards shy of a first down. He's writing it down on almost every play now.
Right, so
it's all red.
Maybe he writes something down every play.
So it's lost a lot of its impact now.
Yeah, we kind of went with that bit for a couple games, though. Oh, there's an orange highlighter. There's a blue pen. Do we have a pen deal? We should definitely get a pen deal.
We will now. Third down. Ball tipped at the line and intercepted. Nope, couldn't come up with it. That ball was literally picked off and then dropped or juggled, and it'll bring up fourth down.
Agadosi is a big, good-looking receiver. Watch this. Nice job by the Jets to get that up in the air. Usually in the middle of the field when it gets up in the air, and that's not interference right there because the ball was tipped. Once the ball is tipped, there is no interference. So that's actually a smart play by the Jets DB to basically just tackle Agadosi at that point.
Gus has done a pretty good job tonight with his punts. Tim White going to try to return this from inside the 10. And that right there is why you don't try to return it from inside the 10. Once again, big time effort on the outside from the guys trying to make an impression.
He's been the most dominant player in the preseason for the Philadelphia Eagles at a very important position for depth at defensive end. He did it against the pass, get down the line against the run. Here's a bull rush where he gets a pressure, and then this is the big one. Double hand wipe, continues to work his hands while he works his feet and works the edge of the offensive tackle. He has been generally outstanding this preseason. Deshaun Hall, the former third-round pick.
Davis Webb checking down, and he'll have himself another first down. An 11-yard pickup as Edwards makes the tackle.
Look at those numbers. 8 pressures, 4 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. Doug Peterson talked about how important that 4th defensive end spot is. And then you have to see how many defensive ends they keep total on the team.
All questions that end up being answered over the course of the next 48 hours or so as Edwards makes another tackle.
I've enjoyed watching him. Watch TJ Edwards hit it. He keys and diagnoses very well. That is not a good job by the left guard for the Jets, by the way. But TJ Edwards didn't even really give him a chance.
That was his calling card in college, though. Led his team in tackles 3 years of his 4 at Wisconsin.
He's a true Mike linebacker. But there are some organizations that feel like that's almost a dying breed with how much teams are in nickel.
Deontay Burnett tried to run before he caught the ball. And it'll bring up another third down opportunity for the defense.
There's Ken Flagel, the linebacker coach for the Eagles. On the right, on the left, Corey Unlin coaches the secondary. Both of those guys have had to roll a lot of people through their position groups because of the injuries.
Webb on third down, picked off. Well read, picked out of the air by Hawkins, coming back this way. Ran right into the tackle of Deontay Burnett, but there's field position now for the Eagles in this 6-0 game as they'll start inside the Jets 40.
Good for him. You know, he's been victimized a few times. Top of your screen, it's zone coverage. He's got the flat, but he reads Webb's eyes, drops off, and that is an easy interception. I think Hawkins is more of a zone corner because he's a good tackler. He's got good instincts. I'm just not sure he trusts his speed in man-to-man coverage. But he's having a nice night. Another guy that no matter what happens can feel good about what he did in his last performance here of the preseason.
Big smile from his position coach, Corey Unlin. Oh, here it is. Trying to get something going and just nothing to do as Thorson really never had time to look downfield unless he dumped it off immediately.
Pressure on the right side. Anthony Fabiano from Harvard was on the practice squad last week. He just gets bull rushed and knocked back right back into the quarterback. You got to set harder and firmer than that. And if you'd gone to Princeton instead of Harvard, he would know that. Nothing. You're not gonna.
I might not even.
That was an Ivy League joke.
I know.
But if you don't laugh, it just makes it seem like I'm mean. I'm trying to be funny. I went to Princeton. You went to Harvard.
And if I don't laugh, it makes you seem like you're being mean. Is that what you said?
If you don't laugh, it just makes it awkward and like I'm a bad person. Was that your intention?
Imagine me doing that to a Princeton guy.
Scott went to Penn, by the way, everybody.
Holding. Offense, number 48. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
No, Alex Ellis called for the hold. That is the first penalty of the night for the Eagles. Comes with less than a minute to go here in the third.
Well, that's been a big positive. They haven't scored any points, but at least it's a big positive what they've done on the penalty part of it.
They decided to say no to the penalty. They declined it.
3rd and 19 here. I'd like to see the Eagles try to split the difference here, get about 9 or 10, give them a chance to go for it on 4th down.
Blitz coming, big time. Oh, what a catch! Super catch by Alex Ellis. You know, not everybody's going to remember that for a lot of reasons in this situation, but that is a super play.
And he's so frustrated because he's wide open. Would have been able to make a play and get some yards after the catch if it was a better throw. I mean, that is not a good throw. But for him to get one hand up there and stab it like that, Ellis has shown up the last couple games. Good for him.
So here you go. 4th down, they've got to get it to the 28-yard line, and they're going to have to get an opportunity to talk this over as they flip sides of the field for the 4th quarter. Super catch by Alex Ellis here at MetLife Stadium. Get ready for the 2019 season with the latest Eagles gear available now at Eagles Pro Shop locations at Lincoln Financial Field, on Route 70 at Cherry Hill, and at the shops at Rockville in Lancaster. Lots of gear.
A buddy of mine from college is here, Steve Lamberton, and his son is rocking a Hank Fraley jersey.
Really?
That like goes down his ankle. I had that jersey right there. I had that.
The Randall jersey?
And I had Randall sign the 2 at Westchester training camp. Boom.
You and thousands of people had that jersey. They had their opportunity to make a decision about what they were doing to the Birds, and instead of going for it on 4th and long, they are going to punt it away, at least presumably. Trying to draw the Jets off. They draw a delay of game.
Penalty, still 4th down.
Cameron Johnson had the drop kick earlier.
All of that plus a drop kick. That's a good night. As we said, he had a marvelous season punting the football last year after kind of a shaky preseason. Dave
Phipp, he's excited. Special teams coordinators live for this, every rep.
He got it inside the 20, which you're looking for. The Jets will start from their own 18-yard line. So we are not far away now from week 1. Washington Redskins 7-9 last year, lost 6 of their last 7. New starting quarterback has been named as Case Keenum, at least for now. the resurgent Adrian Peterson, who ran for more than 1,000 yards and had that 90-yard touchdown run against the Eagles.
Well, they lost 6 of their last 7 games because that's when Alex Smith got hurt, and they kind of fell apart after that. They got a lot of unknowns there. Colt McCoy still out, which is part of the reason why Keenum's the starter. Trent Williams has not been in camp, their left tackle.
A form tackle there for Jane Harris. There were your standings from last year.
Carson Wentz said he's ready to go. We asked him this week. I said, you know, any concern about being rusty without playing at all in the preseason? He said, you know, I think everybody you could say that about. You know, most guys don't get much playing time in the preseason, so there could be concern about everybody being rusty, but he feels ready to go.
He didn't just feel ready to go. You got the impression in talking to him that, I don't know if I want to say chomping at the bit, but he is absolutely geared up to play that first game.
I think he's just excited that he's been able to participate in all of training camp and been healthy. You know, his rookie year, he had the injury. The second year, he was pretty healthy, and obviously we know what happened till later in the year. Helped lead this team to a Super Bowl. Last year, he didn't play in any of the preseason games, didn't even play till week 3. I think he's just happy to have been healthy all camp and be fully healthy going into week 1.
He said that he got reps in camp this year that he wasn't able to get last year. It's going to be a first down as New York finds Tim White out to the 34. So there's your 700 club, as it were. Zach Ertz, of course, leading the way, but Aguilar,
only
Jeffrey,
team in the NFL right there.
Deshaun Jackson, 774. And that was another interesting topic of conversation with Carson when we sat down with him this week. Davis Webb comes back to the near side and good yardage across the 40. Because in talking about that guy right there, Carson said, you know, I saw him on highlights over the years. It's always these long plays, and, you know, it's great. It's spectacular. He said, but getting him in here and working with him in practice, I see what kind of route runner he is. I see the other things he's able to do, and that gets him even more excited than watching one of those 75-yard plays.
He said right away in the spring he could just see that Deshaun had a natural way of getting separation even on the underneath stuff. That really impressed him. Literally everybody we talked to this whole preseason brought up Deshaun Jackson's name, a lot of times unprompted.
Let's take you down to Dave Spadaro.
You know, we've talked all preseason about this Eagles roster and how good it is. Well, we're not the only ones who think the Eagles have one of the best rosters in the National Football League. In fact, Pro Football Focus, which is kind of the guru of analytics for football for the NFL, says that the Eagles, if you look at this, they're the #1 pass receiving group in the NFL, the #1 offensive line in the NFL, and the #1 pass rush in the NFL. That is impressive stuff. 3 really, really critical areas. Howie Roseman and company have done a great job building this roster.
Deontay Burnett running free inside the Eagles 35. And down to the 31, but Trey Elston finally makes the play.
And just piggybacking off of Dave's comments, you know, he said PFF as the king of the analytics in the NFL. Really, the Eagles are the king of the analytics in the NFL. I think that's a big reason why they are #1 in all those rankings. They have as robust of an analytics department as any team in the NFL. Really, that starts with the owner, Jeffrey Lurie, investing in that department, Howie Roseman believing in it. It's one reason why they've got such depth at those important positions.
There's no doubt getting that kind of complimentary notice in the preseason is great. But I don't think there's anybody who has watched this team in practice or has watched this team in the preseason games you haven't seen as much. When you start to realize what is there, the depth of talent that's there, this is a very, very exciting beginning of the season. We'll see. Jane Harris makes another tackle.
And really, if there's an area to be concerned, Scott. It would be the guys that we didn't see at all this preseason because of health issues, right? It would be Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks on the offensive line, or Fletcher Cox and Derek Barnett on the defensive line. Everyone seems to think all those guys will be ready to go in week 1, but we just haven't seen that. And they do have a number of guys that have not at least been able to participate in any of the games that we've seen.
Well short on 3rd down with Singleton making another tackle.
I told you he's going for the record. Singleton has made about 1 million tackles tonight. Fletcher Cox, but even Brandon Graham said a year ago at this point, this is just when he started practicing. And he felt like that's why he was a little sluggish early in the year, because he couldn't explode off of his ankle. He said the difference, though, is guys like Fletcher Cox and Nigel Bradham and Derek Barnett, they've been running for a while. They've been doing things for a while. He hadn't done anything until he started practicing this time a year ago. He feels like those guys will be further along than he was.
Delay game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Jets just got hit with a delay of game call when they were about to attempt a field goal. So the field goal kicker turns around and says, "Thank you very much."
Kind of weird that they didn't call timeout there.
They were 1 man short.
I mean, obviously in the regular season they would have called timeout. Maybe they need to go ahead, and they wanted to see Bertolet try another long one.
Well, it is going to certainly be long enough. He's missed twice from beyond 50 yards tonight. This is a 49-yarder. Plenty of leg. Wide left again. He'd been so good from 40-plus yards, hadn't missed, but has missed from that range 3 times tonight, and the Eagles are still within 1 score here in the 4th quarter. Getting to know you a little bit. Zach Ertz and Josh McCown, like many of the Eagles regulars.
Alshon Jeffrey on the left, Nate Sudfeld on the right, Josh Sweat on the left. Malik Jackson. Really looking forward to Malik Jackson and Fletcher Cox working together on the inside.
And that guy on the outside. Yep.
Zach Brown on the left. Brandon Graham's awesome. Took less money to stay here. Said he wants to live here with his family when he's done. Said Philly's home. Love hearing that.
Even though he's from Detroit, Philly is now home, even though his wife was from Chicago and they were in Detroit. He basically said to her, "Look, this is where we want to be."
He's got such a good smile, good personality. He's fun to talk to. I think he's going to have a big year. You know, last year, as we discussed earlier, is coming off that ankle injury, and it took him a while to kind of get going. This year, he's got all the explosion there ready to go.
Orson's still in at quarterback. He is quarterback this entire game, and it would appear he's going to take it straight on through to the end as Pumphrey gets it across the 45.
It's a nice sign right there by Thorson, bringing the receiver in motion. Watch, he brings in Michelle right there to go up and make this block. Thorson waved him in because he knew he was a guy short. Michelle makes a block at the point of attack. Probably a hold, but if they don't throw the flag, it's not a hold.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good story. 3rd down. They went with Pumphrey, so Thorson's going to follow the defender and take the 1st down. A heady play.
Not something he was known for at Northwestern. Known as primarily a pocket passer. I can hear Greg Williams, my former coach, yelling at the Jets on the sideline, the D coordinator. Contain him.
Well, you know what? He didn't rush for yards, but
short yardage goal line when he had to, yeah.
Only quarterback in the Big Ten with 10,000 passing yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. The 1st down here now. And he just sailed that one over the top of Pumphrey, who's not an especially big guy, but Agadosi couldn't have caught that one.
Thorson's a little slow to get up there. When he misses, it feels like he misses high, doesn't it?
Yep.
I mean, another one. He didn't throw that football. He shot putted that. That was not a throw right there. He kind of guided or shot put that one.
That's what we saw a lot out of him. And there's a guy right now, I would imagine, who's hoping that Thorson can finish this game. You want to go in cold with 7:45 to go in the fourth quarter of this one? Humphrey just can't find room to run, and the Jets have closed down all running routes for the Eagles all night tonight.
Doug Peterson still engaged, still calling plays. He loves this.
Tell you what, he is a lot of fun to talk to. He's fully engaged in the conversation he has with you.
Every player I've talked to loves that guy. That's a great sign. There's a lot of buy-in when everybody believes in you and what you're doing.
Thorson's throw here. Oh, wow. That almost could have been defenseless receiver type stuff as Tompkins just got pummeled over near the 40-yard line as that ball went through his hands.
Tompkins is in the slot. He's running an out route, and that's a poor throw. I mean, the ball's behind him. The ball was high. Still probably should have caught the ball. Probably as frustrated as anything that he didn't. But that is not where you want to put the ball if you're Thorson. It's about ball location. You know, even if he caught that, Scott, and it looked good in the stats for Thorson, it's still not where that ball is supposed to be.
Another punt with under 7 minutes to go. Eagles running out of chances offensively. And the fair catch will give the Jets the football back. 6:54 left to play here at MetLife Stadium. Keep it crisp. $6-0 game. We were talking about hair a little bit earlier. Not sure exactly how we got there. But Dave Spadaro made an assertion that at one time he had a perm, or made the assertion that at one time he had hair. So if you're looking for proof, we have the proof.
I told you.
Corey Clement can't wait to see it either, really. He really wants to see it.
Look at that.
It was sweet. Hey, kids, it can be you someday too. I've aged very gracefully, I think, over the years. I'm here with Corey Clement, Eagles running back. First, you had your first preseason action last week. Yeah. How'd you feel you did when you watched it on tape?
I thought I did pretty good. For my first game back, I realized that there's still got ways to go. Getting back into the realm of things, condition-wise, physicality, and it's definitely truly a blessing to be out there and just rolling with the guys once again.
That running back room with Jordan and with Miles and Darren and you, I mean, how competitive, how fun is it to be in that room? How much better does it make you?
Every single day we just challenge each other. One thing on and off the field, whether it's in the film room or whether it's out on the field competing and in the drill. So, one day everybody tries to one-up one another because it's friendly competition. That's what you want. That's always going to make your team that much better. So I feel as if Deuce is doing a great job of making sure everybody is facilitated correctly in the group, and we love it.
Corey, opener 10 days away. What is the feeling like when you run out in that field for the first time?
It's definitely going to be a special moment. 10 days is going to be here before we know it, and Eagles Sundays are back in action, and I'm pretty sure the fans can't wait too. So, training camp is already done and ready to hit somebody else now.
Corey Clement, thanks so much. Great year.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Kid from Glassboro who grew up as an Eagles fan, so a little extra special twist to it. Speaking of special twists, that's really not a perm.
Definitely not a perm. That is such a.
That's
80s.
I didn't have the picture
high school
of the perm.
yearbook picture.
That's my class of '83 Westchester Henderson Warriors, baby. That's not the perm. It was a light perm. My girlfriend at the time, sister, was a hairdresser, and she loved my head of hair. What can I tell you? Is that so surprising?
Are we on TV talking about?
Not anymore.
Dave's
Not much longer.
There is 5 minutes left in the preseason here.
That ball came out. The question is it a fumble? Was it a catch and fumble? The officials right now say it is a catch and a fumble.
What a play by the new guy. Watch 37 come in. Tomahawk chop. Wow. That is out now. Is it clear recovery inside?
It is.
Yeah, I think he got it before he went out. Look at the coach right there. Don't tell these guys it doesn't matter. Jason Thompson. That looked like Peanut Tillman right there.
He just punched the ball.
I'm surprised more guys don't try that. Peanut Tillman for the Bears was so good at that. Singleton gets it. Knee down, elbow down.
After discussion, there's a fumble out of bounds, not recovered. It'll be Jets ball, first down.
Wow.
Well, so if they called it on Singleton, if they said it was a fumble, then it would be a turnover and an automatic booth review. But now that they're saying that
there was no turnover,
it's not an automatic booth review. So we got all the Eagles players all over Doug Peterson, and they want him to throw the challenge flag, and he just did.
I'll tell you what, got to give Doug credit.
Philadelphia is challenging the ruling on the field that the player was inbounds when he recovered the fumble.
We'll get our review when we come back. That's going to be a tough one to prove on film.
That it was indisputable visual evidence. There is a high standard to overturn the call on the field. Let's put it this way, though. If they called it a fumble, Scott, I don't think they'd be overturning that.
Right.
That's why the call on the field is so important.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as called. It'll be first down, New York.
That ruling was not confirmed, but it does stand. And so,
well, what I don't like about that is they initially called it a fumble, and then there were like some negotiations that went on, and they changed to saying it wasn't a fumble. We needed Shitu out there.
Unfortunately,
for that discussion.
He left the game.
He's our official negotiating guy.
Apparently. Did a great job of it.
Well, that's a huge play.
With 5 minutes to go, the Eagles would have had an opportunity with the ball back in their hands and still down just by a score to potentially win the game. It may not matter to you watching at home right now, but it probably does matter to the guys who are on the field. There you go. Opportunity knocks once again. Chris Worley with the interception on great anticipation, and the Eagles will take over at the Jets 36.
Do you know, Scott, what the kids call that right there? Do you know what the kids call that? Ball don't lie. That's when they say ball don't lie, because it should have been a fumble and they didn't make the right call, but the ball don't lie. Worley gets the pick. Nice pressure by Hester. You'll see Hester over here, left side of your screen. Hester, Sharif Miller, Webb's off his back foot. Not a good throw by Davis Webb. Worley, who signed last week, breaks on. Look at Hester coming through. Sharif Miller. Wow, you cannot make that throw. That's a couple of rough interceptions for Davis Webb. And good for Chris Worley Jr. Just got signed last week. That makes me happy for Singleton, the whole defense, because they had earned the fumble on the play before and then made up for it there.
Shows you how quickly things change in the National Football League as well. Davis Webb, a little more than a year ago, was potentially the heir apparent to the Giants starting quarterback job. Now he may not make this Jets team come Saturday. Dorsett, a little bit of time, and short to Pumphrey. He felt the pressure coming, but it did come open to a guy who can make things happen in space. He couldn't get on the ball.
I mean, the bottom line, Scott, is he has to complete that pass. This is the NFL. That was not a hard throw. Pumphrey was wide open. Pumphrey's pretty good with the ball in space. That's got to be a layup.
Second down and 10. That's Will Tye in motion. Back to the ground. Pumphrey can't make anything happen there as the hole closes up, and he is thrown back. So 2 down territory, no doubt, with 4:35 left to go, and one New York Jet is slow to get up. Mark Myers Jr. out on the field. So Thorson's going to get an opportunity to talk over a little bit what he's got coming up here on third. Santander is proud to present the Eagles Legends community. For stories and features about retired Eagles and the rich history of the team, download the official Eagles mobile app today. Talked about the fact that it takes a village, right? Well, it's not just us.
Jen Kavanaugh, Eric Long, Chris Barletto.
Everybody who has been a part of this thing throughout our 4 games. We've got a terrific, terrific crew.
And in all sincerity, Scott, I hope that Eagles fans appreciate the quality of the broadcast. I don't mean me or you. I just mean...
Well, not after tonight.
I just mean the people that are involved in the broadcast. I watch a lot of preseason football, even the last few years when it was you and Mike Mayock. And the Eagles television broadcast, very, very high end compared to a lot of the other teams that are out there. That's really the whole organization. You look at PhiladelphiaEagles.com, blows away the websites for the other teams. I mean, it's not even close.
We thank everybody who is part of this crew for helping make what we do very easy.
Look at all the names. I mean, look how many people it takes to put this together. Some of these people I haven't even met yet. Some of them I don't even know what they do. I just know that they do a great job.
Great camera work all 4 games every year, year in, year out.
I got mixed emotions right now because on the one hand, I'm so excited for the regular season to be here. On the other hand, I like doing these games. This is fun.
Very point that I made on social media earlier today.
I don't follow you.
I know.
I'll check it out later. Probably not.
Probably not.
All right, come on, Thorson. Let's do it. 4 minutes left. 3rd down.
Big blitz coming. Had to get rid of it into nowhere because nobody picked up the guy who was coming on the blitz. Arthur Millette came in untouched.
In fairness to Thorson there, the Eagles didn't have an answer. Nobody broke off their route. I'm not sure who was supposed to be hot on that. You ever hear an announcer say somebody's supposed to be hot? That means they're supposed to break off their route against the blitz to give the quarterback an early option in case a free runner comes. 4th down now for the Eagles. Michelle's at the top. The bottom, you got Agadosi. He's got a big body, can go up and get it. The bottom.
The lay blitz coming. Thorson standing in, threw it behind his intended receiver, Tompkins. And the Eagles turn it over on downs. Now as the Jets come back out on the field to try to run out the remaining clock, let's take a look at our Live Fearless play of the game presented by Independence Blue Cross.
It was Josh Hawkins, the young corner, working back off his zone coverage, cutting underneath the throw by Webb. The Eagles have done the job on defense. They've only given up 6 points. They've made several turnovers, but studies show, Scott, it's hard to win football games when you score 0 points.
Those studies are...
Lots of studies.
Well, it's a good return on the amount of money that they paid for the study. First down, as we said, the Jets trying to, they can run this thing out. Kevin Wilkins making another tackle. He's had a few of them here tonight. A couple of big plays. Penalty coming against New York.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 6. 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down. Philadelphia will decline the penalty. It'll be 2nd down.
Kind of like the decision by Peterson to decline the penalty there. You don't want to give the Jets more time, more opportunities to run more time off the clock, especially when I think he's pretty confident that they're trying to run the ball out here, run the clock out, and if they do throw it, Davis Webb Hasn't been real good.
Hard running along the inside for Elijah McGuire. Elijah McGuire's playing with less than 4 minutes to go in the last game of the preseason. It's not a good sign.
No, it's usually not. He's a guy that's done some positive things in the league as well. All right, so 3rd down and 5. Eagles get a stop here. Punt it away.
2 timeouts left.
And we'll get a chance to see what Thorson can do, but they got to get a stop here. Or maybe a turnover based on some of the throws and decisions that Davis Webb's made. Let's see if they can get some pressure.
Got to get it to that 47-yard line. Webb dancing around back there, finds his man for first down yardage. Just a straight crossing route, and Greg Dorsch gets the ball to the 50-yard line. That might do it for this game. 3 minutes to go. Still some time. Eagles still have a couple of timeouts left.
Do you think Doug Peterson will use those timeouts?
I do not. I think that was the defense's chance to see if they could get the punt.
Well, we'll find out after this play.
With 2 timeouts left, you're right. Back to the ground. McGuire. Not bad yardage. Got 5 down to the 45.
He called timeout.
Well, Doug Peterson's going to play this out. So after this one is done, back down the turnpike to Philadelphia, and here's what it looks like for the first 4 weeks of the season. 2 at home, 2 on the road. Not one team with a winning record last year.
That is deceiving.
Very deceiving.
Because the Falcons are going to be better and the Packers are going to be better. Both those teams could very easily have 10+ wins seasons this year.
And both of those games are
on the road.
Yep.
That is very deceiving. That's why when people talk about strength of schedule based on the team's 1-loss record the year before, I just laugh.
And through the middle, there's going to be the first down, and clock only stopping 2 more times. That should probably do it.
Yeah, now I don't think they'll use the last time out.
So as we put a bow on this preseason, did the Eagles accomplish what they set out to accomplish?
I think the new guys and the young guys have all done very well, and they also didn't really suffer any major season-ending injuries. So in that way, those are all big positives.
End of the first preseason for this draft class, people can't say enough good things about Andre Dillard.
Andre Dillard has been generally outstanding, the first-round pick from Washington State. You know, you asked me, Scott, about do we see good things from the Eagles this preseason? We certainly did for the draft picks, the first 3. Nice job by Miles Sanders, especially in that Jacksonville game, and then J.J. Arcega-Whiteside last week against the Ravens. The run after the catch, change of direction, certainly the touchdown catch with his hands on the old flag route. Their first 3 picks, all on the offensive side of the ball, have all shown that if called upon this year, I think they could make plays and help this team win.
The thing about Dillard that comes out is that everybody that we talked to, and we talked to a number of people before each and every game, everybody we talked to about Dillard, whether prompted or unprompted, talked about how they were amazed at how advanced he is for a guy who still hasn't played an NFL game.
His hands, his feet. I don't know who his offensive line coach is at Washington State, but that guy did a really nice job with him, as has Jeff Stoutland here since he's been in Philadelphia, because he's gotten a lot better even than how he looked early in training camp. And really, Scott, you know, initially in the season, Dillard will be in a backup role, you would think. Same with Arcega-Whiteside. Out of those 3 guys, Miles Sanders is the only one really projected to have a big role week 1.
And you get the impression that we didn't see a lot of what Sanders is capable of doing, because that's another guy who had glowing reviews from his teammates from what they saw from him on the field. And there's still things for all of these guys to learn. Doug Peterson was talking about Arcega-Whiteside and some of the improvements that he has to make and some of the fundamental things that he has to work on. You know, they're rookies, they're draft picks, but a lot of upside from those three guys that we saw little glimpses of during the course of this preseason.
Carson Wentz told us Miles Sanders jumped out to him right away with the explosion as well as the vision. And Doug Peterson did say that Arcega-Whiteside still a little raw, still has some things to learn. Those guys all smiles. They know that it's no more fun and games as of tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning it is serious business. Week 1, Washington Redskins, time to get 1-0.
That's what everybody's mind is going to be on now that the preseason is coming to an end, and that guy, well, he just can't wait to get going a week from Sunday against the Redskins. Doug Peterson and the Eagles can't put up a point here in this final preseason game tonight, but they're going to put up a lot of points during the course of this season if you believe what you see on paper. Don't forget, Week 1, 1 p.m. on Fox against the Washington Redskins. Of course, Artie Kepner will be in the truck for that one if you want to tip your cap to our preseason director. Isn't it nice that Artie gets an extra special mention?
He deserves it. The link better be rocking next Sunday.
Caps off the 2019 preseason. Thanks for joining us this year, and thanks to everyone involved in making these broadcasts a success. For Dave Spadaro and Ross Tucker, I'm Scott Graham. For our entire crew, good night from New Jersey. The final score is the Jets 6 and the Eagles 0.